Hello, hello. What's up, everybody? Welcome to the channel. My name's Alckemy. Hopefully you all have been having a nice holiday. Corey and I had a really good time yesterday. We did sushi for Thanksgiving, and it was pretty good. We actually didn't eat as much as I thought I was going to, but we were pretty stuffed. She also made a really good homemade pumpkin pie. It was pretty badass. I'll have some more of that later. But yeah, we are going to be working on a track that this will be like session 3 on this, I think, for this like IDM / trip hop tune. But before we do that, we got some quick play spells to get through, just a few, and then we will hop into what's going on here. We'll hop into just jumping right back into the project. But yeah, I'm curious. It's also Black Friday, and if you are interested, then I also am having a 50% sale on my website. Yeah, everything's half off, so go grab anything that you've been wanting to. That sale will be good all the way through December 4th over at alchemy.com. But I'm curious, was there anything that you all bought, or was there anything that you all are looking at to grab for the sale, or I don't know. Let me know your thoughts. All right, we have source material first, and then we'll just go down the list. That's actually pretty sick. What's up, Nate? This is cool. Thanks for sending that. Yeah, I'm kind of curious if like you're putting distortion on the master, or saturating the master, where I think that what I would do instead is break your stuff down into 2 groups and saturate the what's it called? Saturate the other elements that are not the kick and snare with a different kind of distortion. So that way, like it's hard to explain, but I feel like in a lot of your tracks, you go for like the Lorne thing, but because you're pushing everything through a single saturator, it makes it fall apart in a way that it becomes more like noise and less of that like really heavy, like textured sound that I feel like you're going for. Saturation really works best when used in subtle, small amounts, but multiple instances. You want to build with saturation, not just like, go plus 12. I got your Serum 2 drum course and newest bass preset pack. Dude, thank you so much. Also got your Serum 2 preset pack, got all these learning and reverse engineering. Yeah, man, if any of you guys have purchased a course from me, or you all have been part of the Arcana memberships, I'd love to know your thoughts on the courses that I've made, and also if there's no other course that you'd be interested in buying / taking a look at. But yeah, I mean, I put a lot of work into those, and there's a lot of really good content, lots of very like open-ended things that, yeah, I think that they're good courses, man. I otherwise I wouldn't put them out, but what can you say? All right, Grimtech, you're next. I legit use 2016 drum samples here. Transients don't pop. Funny how you get used to them smacking. You can't go back. Feels weird. No, those totally have transients. It's more of the means of the mix. Like your bass is like 6 decibels louder than your drums, but also your kick sounds completely different than your snare. So they don't really feel like they belong to the same kit. It took me a while to figure that out. Like any plugin or group to master, and homogenizing the elements going through it can be a good thing sometimes, but usually not. That was sick. Yeah, I think there was a lot of good stuff in here, but different definitely like a how do you say, a reflection of the times, for sure. The transient, so much more power in the tracks. No, dude, this isn't. No, your kick is flabby, bro. I'm sorry, but your kick is flabby. Um, like I said, if it's something that you're going for, then that's totally different. But I would be suspicious. Actually, I can do this. So hold on, let me open this up real fast, and let's take a look at what you're doing, because we need to talk about this. You and I need to have a little chat. Give me 1 second. There we go. Downloads. Okay. So here's your kick. You see this here? This should be like a quarter of what it is. In fact, I think that if you had this on here, yeah, there is no transient on this. And the reason why is because the volume of this is so long that it doesn't, there's no sizable difference in sound. And so what I would do personally is grab an EQ. Yeah, and part of that is because there's not really a pitch bend on this. It's just a clack. Just a clack. You know, it's just like, this is the sound you make when you stub your toe. Let me see here. You see the difference even between this? Like, this is actually workable now. Okay, it's kind of a lost cause, but you can still fix it. So if we were to make this a little bit shorter, step. I got a bunch of freebies. 8TT from Discrete Signals is pretty nice. What is that? Yeah, I think that's the main thing that this is missing. Like this doesn't have any kind of motion to it. It's just the sound. Tot butt 8TT. Oh, okay. I was like, what the fuck? I was like, what the hell is that? What the hell is a tot butt ATT? Boy, what in the hillbilly? All right. I'm going to fuck with this a little bit. Yeah, I personally don't feel like whatever this is really helpful to your sound. See, now there's a transient. So, my guess, whatever you're doing at the beginning, if you have a noise layer over your kick, it's totally destroying your transient. Oh yeah, I had a great Thanksgiving. Corey and I went to all you can eat sushi, and then when we got home, we played some Borderlands 4, which we're gonna do some more of later. Which, if anybody wants to join, by the way, we just started. We're still at the very beginning. So if you all want to play online with us, you're more than welcome to. I'm playing on PC. She's playing on the Xbox, but it's crossplay. But a couple years ago, I introduced her to Tiny Tina's Wonderlands, and I think that was her very first FPS. And now that she's got some experience under her belt, she's having a lot of fun with Borderlands 4. Yeah, so this little thing, whatever the fuck this is, I'm guessing that you're putting noise before this. This is way too fucking long. And like I said, I think that it's getting in the way of you actually getting a good transient. So whatever you're doing in your kick design, take the noise out. You can always add it in later if you needed to. Like if you have a kick, let's say that's literally just a sine wave. Right? Like this is just a sine wave. Just add a ring mod to it. Just a little bit. Tiny, tiny little bit. I played the shit out of Tiny Tina's Wonderland. I used to love it. See, like, I wish that Borderlands 3 could have been her and I's introduction. Actually, Borderlands 3 was the first Borderlands game that I played, but I wish that that could have been hers because that was so much better than Tiny Tina's Wonderlands. Like I feel like because it was made during COVID, like they really cut a lot of corners with it, especially for the post game and all that. Like Corey didn't get to experience any of that cool stuff with like getting a team together and then doing like the really high difficulty stuff and like making a build and you know what I mean? Like to me that's like the where the game really starts to shine. In Borderlands 4, since the game just came out, they don't really have any post game content. So you know what I mean? But with Borderlands 3, there's like so much shit to do after you beat the game with like the raids and the takedown bosses and you know whatever. But yeah, I liked Tiny Tina's Wonderland. Like it was a cool experience, but it just it was severely lacking for like what Expectation 3 built, if that makes sense. Okay, so you see just a little bit of this you can get noise out of this. If you put it before the filter, then you can do that as well. And then you can start, like I said, building with saturation in order to start like making it crunchy. But do you see how this still has the transient in it? So, anyways, that would be my advice. Mine was comically bad. Car died before I left to visit family and stayed away. Ended up managing to get home and eat Malaysian takeout. Damn, dude, I'm sorry to hear that. That fucking sucks. We are working on IDM track. I did get a mini LED TV to use as a computer screen, so not all bad. Is that what you got for Black Friday? Is it possible to achieve inharmonicity in Vital? Yeah, just do some kind of FM and have it tuned to something that's not a perfect ratio. I use that a lot whenever I'm doing physical modeling. TCL 50-inch, mini LED, new tech, looks good. Sick. You want to edit my videos? No, I'm just kidding. Why don't you make yourself useful with that fancy new television of yours and... Need some symbols. I'm very advanced and have to put out a short reel every 2 days with a bunch of B-roll plus 20-minute episodes every week. Nah, man, like the kind of editing that I need is really simple. I just need it to be like, just cut the thing up. No, I actually have somebody that reached out to me that did a short, and they're extremely reasonably priced. I just I can't fucking afford it. Yeah, that's dope. Yeah, I feel that. Do 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 do. Nah, man, I get it. That's why I don't fucking edit my videos. Can't stand it. Got to learn about RM as well. They're kind of the same thing. Well, sort of. Definitely has some ups and downs over the years. That's good, man. I definitely don't want people to fucking have to struggle. This shit sucks. Yeah. Thanks. My work shifted from more music to more video, which ironically reignited my musical creative spark. Was it because you didn't have access to it? I almost feel like I just want to filter it out. Maybe I don't want to do that. Maybe I just want to leave it. I don't know. I want to do something with this, but kind of got jaded from having to work on music I didn't like. Yeah, I would be jaded as well. All right, let me figure out what key this is in, because I don't remember. Yeah, I think like maybe just some very subtle but suggestive phrases like that would be nice. Like, you know, something like that would be really nice. Yeah, that's nice. Okay. Let me get some of this stuff in here. What's going on here? Dee 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 dee. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, and that's part of the job that a lot of people probably don't discuss is like if you're doing composition and all of that, like you have to make shit that you're not going to like, which sucks. Uh, the door just shut and it was like super squeaky. Shit, sorry. Ian, get it together. I guess that could work. We can just throw that in here somewhere. Yeah, that's nice. We could probably end it right there because I really like that it ends on that like super nice decay. And I don't really need the song to be that much longer. Yeah, that's pretty nice. Let's get that in there as well. Hey, Aaron. I don't think that I want to do that reverse sound. I think I'm just gonna, or just do this, just that tone. Okay, let's see how that flows. I'll try to bring out the clarity of this just a little bit more. Okay, so I am going to create a new track here. And on this new track, we're going to copy this. We're going to move this here. On this one, I don't need there to be the fuse compressor. And then on this EQ here, hey, Inner. I think that the main thing that I use for Pro Q4 is having an attack and release on the dynamics, but as far as the spectral stuff goes, like, no, I don't use any of that. I'm gonna go find a glitch sample in here somewhere. Yeah, something like that. Because in this replacer, I'm going to throw a sampler in here. The attack release was the only thing I was seeing that I really like. Yeah, other than that, I don't really think it's worth upgrading. I almost never use it anyways, but it's nice to have. Sorry. Okay. Okay, I need something that's a little bit more digital. A little more glitchy. A little more glitchy and bitchy. Just kidding. Let's see what we got here. Hey, Dennis, what's up, bro? Maybe we can use that. Ugh. Right. Frequency shifter. Yeah, you're not going to be able to tell the difference anyway. I was hoping that I could make something there that would give it like a little bit of an interesting like glitch layer, but yeah. And with these other little glitch things and whatever, I do want them to be a little bit more aggressive. Yo, what's on sale at your website? I need a base fix. Every single item, singular item. So everything is on sale except for the bundles. There's like these weird mids in this that I really don't like. Yeah, there we go. And then now I think I can turn this up just a little bit. Also gonna chain this to what would I recommend best pack? Well, I just put out a base pack if that's what you're looking for. Alchemy's monster bases. There's like 80 bases in there. Um, audio 4. I'm just gonna label this as kick. Kick. Glitch snare. Let's do another one. Glitch snare pre. Damn, dude. You alright? You just falling apart? I was able to separate being creative for other people doing stuff I wasn't into for a while, which I guess is a skill in itself. Yeah. But if all of your creative time goes into that instead of being able to make tracks, I think I would lose my fucking mind.
Recording to logbook.
What would I call this genre? It's IDM. Oh, it's all good. I have... No. No, I don't. This was ROM for those hi-hats. I want it to be like even more ambiguous. Okay, let's give this a listen through and see how this sounds. I wanted to clean some stuff up with this just because the rolling of this feels a little bit samey a lot at times. Like all of these need to have Yeah, I don't think I'm going to keep those extra bass phrases in there. Yeah, I think that's good. I think I just wanted to go like, dude. Yeah. I think that's a better way to end the song because I have like another 2.5 minutes of pretty much the same thing, but just in a trip hop fashion. And I think that the beat belongs, but I don't think that this needs to be like double the length of the track, you know? This seems 425 to 730. Yeah, so it's like we turned it into like a 3-minute tune. I like this though. It's really nice. Does anybody have any questions about any of this stuff? And after, I don't really have anything else that I wanted to do, so I'm down to kind of just hang around and maybe look at some deals or something on Black Friday. Or is there any stuff that you all have been kicking around, or any points of discussion that you all want to have? I want to do one more listen through. Actually, what I'll do is I'll export this, and then we'll do the thing. If you know, you know. If you know, you know. Oh, I forgot to bounce this in real time. Whatever. Y'all like my vibrato? My vibrato. Sure. No. That's pretty funny. All right. One more listen through, and then we can do something else. Yeah, baby. Critique on that dubsteppy track I submitted as a quick spell a few months ago. Eventually, the progress is terrible. I mean, I'm down to do some feedback if you want. Have you watched my video on uh, writing music with shit sounds that I put up recently? 9 times out of 10, I'll disappear midstream and never come back. It's because I fell asleep. Well, that's okay too. Like, I actually like or appreciate that you fall asleep to the stream. Yeah, but have you watched that video of how to write music with shit sounds? I mean, I feel like I've probably done that demonstration quite a few times as well, but really, like, if you find yourself like not having time or not having inspiration or not uh not really being into it, which I go in and out. Like, I get really into it and then I get burnt out and then I get really into it again and then I get burnt out, and I've realized this about myself, that it's become cyclic. And part of that is based off of like my mood and my environmental factors, my physical health. Like right now I've been trying to focus more on music because my knee is, basically cooked for the time being, so I haven't been going to the gym as much. Um but yeah, it's just sometimes it's like that. But what I would say when it comes into it is to just go back into simplifying. You know what I mean? Simplifying. Simple, simple, simple. If you can make a couple of bass phrases, or like, get into like some deep dub womp, because let's be real, that stuff is pretty easy to make. Um those are the kinds of things that you can write a track in a day and feel good about, to where you can come back and like make it better, or you can just call it for what it is and be like, man, I really like what I did. And what will happen, I believe, like, this isn't gospel or anything, but what I believe is that at some point you're going to find yourself working on a project that you're going to get really into, and you're going to put the time in. You're going to be like, and that's when all of your intuition and all that other stuff is going to come back into play, and you're going to be like, okay, I know what I'm doing now. And I say this because I've had this experience so many times. It gets annoying because I want to always have access to it, but sometimes you're just not feeling it, and that needs to be okay. But I don't know. I feel compelled to make music regardless, and I make myself make music because I don't know. It just calls. It's like training. If I go too long without it, I get really sad and really depressed. Well, fuck it. Who am I kidding? Depression is a thing, anyways. But I get really, really depressed. Um, I don't have that same tendency you do to want to tweak or make your own sounds. I mean, I love to do that, but I guess lazy. Yeah, and that's fine. Just writing with shit sounds, because like composition is king anyway, right? Um, then I get to the stage of, well, my question to you is, do you finish the arrangement though? You know, and what you could even do is like get a sample pack, or like spend a day making sounds, but like really low effort sounds. Like, I do this all the time, but look, man, like something like this, like faceplant. Get this, get this, get this. LFO. What's going on here? I'm just, there we go. You know what I mean? Something like this. Like, yeah, it's because you're trying to do this shit at the same time. Like, split it up. I think I get distracted from the original composition idea. It needs to have its own space and flow without distraction. Just focus on the groove, you know? Like, when's the last time you jammed? Yeah. Well, that's why you record, you know? So you record something out. Like I do that a lot. I'll just jam and I'll record something and then I'll go back and find something to make a track about with the jam. That's something I got from Chi. Oh, well, I mean, why can't you do that? But like, look, super low effort, right? I know you like this kind of shit, don't you? Right. Why is it like this? Maybe it's because there's too much attack on this. You also like just need to spend time with it. You know? Like even something as simple as this. That's kind of cool. Maybe right here we can do like a. We can do the same thing, but with the pitch bend instead. Now it's got some bounce. So, I mean, really within this, I'm just like I said, doing super low effort stuff here. This is where like things like life can come in and put, smack you up, get you an interesting perk loop or something, and that's part of the reason why I always start with percussion as well. Usually. I actually like that. I haven't taken her out. So what? 9:30. Yeah, this is nice. So you could take something like that, right? They are demure. They're giving. So we don't really need the actual loop of this. We just needed something to like get in here and create like a cool little fill phrase or a cool little shuffle. You know what I mean? So what I would do is most likely just do some shit like this. Use a different sound. I'm just this is like where I spend the most time is just trying to get the rhythm right. You know. Yeah, just regular shit. Just a little doof, you know? What up? Just tuning in. Hey, what's up, Ivan? Is it Ivan or Yvonne? Need some fast grind phrases. Well, see what I'm saying? It's like you're. Why can you make decisions on my track, but you can't make decisions on your track? You get what I mean? That's the whole point. I don't mean that to be a dick, by the way, but more so of a matter of, okay, well, so we can just. Hey, yes, sir. It's Yvonne. Okay, gotcha. You know what I mean? You can just doing shit like this, or we can even like not do the shuffle thing. Because to me, I was wanting this to be a little bit more tribalistic. Some time ago, you said that you were quite using Superior Drummer. What are my favorite SD expansions? I only have one, and it's kicks and snares. For the most part, I just use whatever's already in there. Yeah, let's try that kick instead. I think this is gonna work a little better. I need more of like an electronic 808 kick. There we go. I like that wobble though. Oh, dude, I'm just fucking off. I'm doing an example of just writing music with shitty sounds and not really caring. Um, so I'm gonna mute this. I'm gonna turn life back on and find something a little different because I want this to be something that's like. No, no, Nate, that's not what I'm getting at all, brother. It's more of like it's a mental note. That's super swung. Yeah, here we go. But for you, if everyone is suggesting shit, it can get annoying. Well, you're not everyone is suggesting shit. It's just you at the moment. You're fine. And most of the time when that happens, I usually tell people I'm like, "Hey, all right, I've had enough," you know. Whoa, what is that plugin? It's life. So we can pull back off of this. Thank you, honey. And just take out the low end. Thank you, baby. Oh, wow. So. Okay, so this is what we want right here. So now that we have this, we can do something like this. And just and then literally like you just need some. Oh. You could. I don't want to be that racist, but we could do better than that. You know what I mean? Just like dumb shit like this. Just give it some some energy, you know? And then we can even try other shit like this and just I'm really trying not to think about this too much. All right, I'm going to layer this with a clap. Or maybe not. Maybe I'll just try to pull this out a little more. There we go. You know what I mean? You know? We can get a wheel up in here. Wheel. Just turn this off, the recurrence. And the bleep. You need the bleep. Still like those Indian chants. Yeah, but I mean, the dub bass line will start to sound like Thievery Corporation. There we go. You know, and like once you have something like this, you can just come up with a, if you can come up with a melody or, you know, just like little things like that. All right, guys, did anyone get a free UAD patch? No, I didn't. You know what I'm saying though? Like you could, it's not super hard. Black Friday, Aberrant, DSP, Cataclysm, Dawson, Contrast, and Hate, Traction, Biotech, more. Wow, it's a big shopping list. You got a lot to go through. That's dope though. You know, and then every once in a while we can throw in some other phrases or whatever. Let me go in here. Now we're gonna have to mix this a lot different because this is supposed to be more of a background sound, but we can get like a nice phrase here, like this, like. Yeah. That worked out nicely. And we can take something like that. What key was this in? That's an F. So we can pitch this up by 2. Find somewhere cool and creative to place it. Shaper box, UAD, Echo tape, free pick of a plugin, a 3 website. Happy that. Yeah, that's dope. You know. So you can do something that's like. Is this helpful, by the way, Nate? Yeah, so it's just making dumb shit. Like this isn't my genre, but if you kind of just are willing to. I want this to be a little bit more dry. There we go. then you can start to elaborate on like the tribal. Or we can start to do like the you know, shit like this. Start replacing some sounds with some heavier basses. Obviously, we have to tweak the patch to make it fit. There's a lot of reverb on this, on the convolver, so we just need to back off of that just a bit. And then we need to mix it in a way that's going to make sense with this, so. Okay, and then right here we can do like a vocal or a chant or something. And the key to this, I feel like this genre really caters to subtlety. And we can do something right here where we pull off. Something more creative here. Like. Probably here instead. Then we can do another instance of life with something that's, just a little bit tribal in the background or whatever. And then, because this is a little bit rough. I know that's why I did this, because I know that you like this tempo. Yeah, this will do just fine. This is why whenever I suggest or I ask for genre suggestions, you all should give me suggestions. Walloop, walloop, walloop. So now we can fit this into here and give it a little bit more. It's a little bit louder. What's the colorful waveforms for? Just because I like colorful waveforms. Something like that. Come on, come on. But I mean, if you look at this, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. This is already a lot more tracks than I normally have, but you know what I mean? This is a song. I'm not going to finish it because I don't really care about it, but pretty low effort. You know what I mean? I probably would do this instead, and that way we can fill it up with more ambience, and then we can do the second call and response on this. and to a different color for that. But yeah, um, I don't know. This is how I sketch with like low effort. And that's the point is the decision making with low effort. You know what I mean? Well, the like what does Chi say? He says like you want to get yourself to a point where you are letting the track start to write itself. You know what I mean? Um and sometimes you start with drums, sometimes you start with, like I don't know, a melody or whatever. And that's why I make so much lo-fi hip hop, or not lo-fi, but just like hip hop in general, of all things in between. Because if you do this, we go into this little rack that I made from before, right, with the pitch shifter. So like a seventh or a fifth, and something that will modulate in between a fifth and a seventh. I just want a random here. There we go. We'll set this to like 9. So even with this, right, if I just play C minor, like there's so much stuff, even with just that, we could manipulate. So if we have like a bit crusher, ensemble, sorry, filter table, then what I like to do is just pretty much make this sound kind of nice, kind of pretty, whatever. What else would I do to this? I don't know, maybe just a small amount of reverb. It doesn't need to be anything spectacular. It just needs to be something that's like, okay, just a little bit. Oh yeah, faceplant's the best. Let me just pull up the rack so I don't have to try to remember how to make this. But let's go to the boom bap thing. Boom bap pad maker, right? Delay, that's what I was missing. Reverse, some ring mod, more pitch shifting, whatever. How often do I release music? I upload to my website at least twice a month, because that's how I sell my music these days. Okay, like there's so much stuff in this. Oh, dude, that's the one right there. Actually, this is like one of the best patches I've ever made just for this type of music. But I mean, look at this. I think it was here. You know, sample chopping and stuff is like your friend for this. Oops. I think those are in the same key. So we can grab this with another thing like this and just slowly fade it in. Like this. And give it a little bit of layering. Yeah. I want this to be a little bit earlier. And find a hat. Let me see what this is going to sound like. Sorry, it's supposed to be here. There we go. Does this have a hat in it? Is that why it's doing that? Boom, 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 boom. Audiation is your friend. Audiating. Okay. We play. You want to play games after? You want to play games after? Yeah. I'm down. No? Oh, yeah, yeah. But you can set it to be whatever you want. There we go. I still want some kind of like shaker thing over this. Sure. We'll just use this for now. And then I'll change it. Hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh man, I've got so many of those. That's half of my production here. You know, and the other cool thing about this is like you can do it doesn't have to be this riff. You know, once we have something that has the same style, you know, you can do something like this as well to try to make it more vibey. This is really nice. What I would probably do though is stretch this out like this and see if I can get like a deeper tone. Set this to repitch. See what this does. You know, or just fuck with this. You know, or even something like this. You know, or we can try to find something that has a progression to it. Or even just that. That's really nice. So something like this. You know what I mean? Like now it's just leading from one decision to another. So that's actually kind of nice. Something like this. Almost fucked it up. Yeah. Yeah, thanks, bro. I'll let you know. I'll update you on what's going on. Okay. With the stuff, but I got you. Worst case scenario, I'll send you a download code if it doesn't come through. Sound good? But I got you. Why did that only record? Come on. Come on. Jesus. So now we can be like, just make it a little more simple. Which I need to fix this. Because it sounds all fucked up. So we're just going to try to smear. There we go. Sorry. Why won't it let me select this? Bruh. Okay, it'll let me select this, but not this. What the f... Okay. What? Do I have a harp? Ooh, I like that. Yeah, I mean, again, we didn't really use any amazing sounds in this, but it's a really fast way to sketch and to just have fun. Would I save this? Yeah, maybe. I'd probably still switch this up though. This is too happy for me. But even still, all of the instruments are there, you know? If we wanted to change the vibe again, we could just move this over, throw this out. Not throw it out, but you know, we've got all these ideas over this, and then we can change the vibe again because like we have all the elements that we need. Let's see if I can find something else that's a little bit more deeper, I think is the word I'm looking for. And then then something I'm going to do on this is back off of the mix of this. Bro. Does it run native? Oh, like without a host? No. Let's throw beam on here. We'll find another hook with just sine waves. I mean, I've done factory content with them. Oh wow, that sounds like a choir or a opera. Yeah, I get the same vibe as well. I really like that. Around Cube like 3 years ago. I mean, it's a little outdated, yeah. That's nice. Yeah, I think I actually got it. We're just going to leave it in MIDI. Cool. Here we go. Got the standalone version of Time from Beam as a freebie for the sale this weekend. Honestly, it's more fun than I thought it might be. Yeah, it's pretty dope. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it's a bit weak. Dude, why is Billy just taking a shit on me? What the fuck? Oh my god, dude. I'm gonna close out of this and reopen it just because Bilwig is being like, nope, fuck you. Let's see if we can get this to work. Thank you. We can do that. We could do this. was the riff that I played over this? D. Ha. D's nuts. There we go. Oh, I'm just making simple shit. But I have been using Faceplant for forever. If you want to see what Faceplant can really do, like, give me just a few minutes, I'll show you. Yes, it's simple. You want to see complicated? I'll show you complicated. You want me to show you tough? I'll show you tough. Hi. Hi. Okay. Yeah. This thing does everything. This is a complicated patch. But the benefit of it is that, like I said, this makes like every kind of sound you could need. Is it heavy? Well, yeah, it's heavy, but this isn't meant to be thrown on a track. This is meant to be sampled and resampled because, like I said, it does everything. So we've got basses. You can change it into percussion. Change it into a pad. You can change it into a granular synth. Change it into a pluck. change it into a glitch machine, which we should turn on the, no, it's fine. Yeah, we've got a metallic maker, sub, and then you can combine them with each other to create different sounds. Yeah, I don't make packs like this anymore because they are a bit CPU intensive. And so I design stuff for people to be, or I design stuff to make things a little bit more easier for people to use. But yeah, you can go through great lengths to make stuff like this if you wanted to. There's some other stuff down here as well, like bass pitching, if you wanted to try to find phrases like... You know, stuff like that, or FM to the basses. There's some other stuff in here as well, like a sequencer that's built in for a melody. So if we go back to the pad, and you can choose a different melody with this, with the LFO table. You can randomize it as well if you want to turn that on. So, I mean, yeah, there's just so much stuff that's built into these patches. This is on sale, 50% off, Requiem 1 through 3, if anybody's interested. But yeah, so when I say complicated patch, like I'm doing very, very simple things with this stuff. But I'm also not really trying to make like super crazy music at the moment. I'm just trying to make something fun and vibey. I'm not doing any side shading on this right now either, but it'd be cool to do this as well, just like my whole point with like writing these tracks was to try to prove a point about writing music with shitty sounds and like how to figure stuff out with low effort, because sometimes that's just what you need, you know? Um, and this is stuff that like is easy to work on because you're not, you know what I mean? You don't have to try too hard. And so you can kind of just vibe out to this. And it's nice, you know? You can write this in an afternoon, and it does require a little bit of focus, but nothing that's too intense. And what you do is you know, I don't know. I can always go back to boom bap hip hop and stuff. That's just one thing that is like part of my inherent DNA, you know. But I try to do this with other genres as well, like halftime, you know, like drum and bass. The more I stumble on making patch better, the worse it gets. So simplify. Just watch a video of a guy making an entire dubstep track from the 4 starting drum samples in FL Studio. Yeah, I mean, I teach that on the channel a lot. It's like you can turn anything into anything, you know. You can turn any kind of sound into any kind of sound, and I'm really big on that. We do that a lot here. But you know what I mean? I guess like if you look at this, the sounds that I was showing you with all the processing and stuff was cool, but when it comes to writing a track, like nothing in here is crazy. In fact, I would say like it's beyond simple. It's like totally rudimentary. Writing with sine waves and learning to essentially control sine waves is super powerful, because a lot of my melodies and stuff are really just amalgamations of that. And if you listen to a piano, like it's got you know a lot of harmonics in it, but at the same time it it's still a derivative of a sine wave. That's why pianos are super resonant, you know. A lot of times it's the physical space and the timbre of the hammer hitting whatever the chords or the strings are made out of that give it that extra flair, but it's embodied within a sine wave. And so rather than trying to make the most crazy complicated pluck thing that you could possibly make, you know, just that's all this is. This is just a sine wave, and it's nice. It's got a little bit of FM, I think. No, it's not. It's just a sine wave and an octave up. That's it. Maybe a little bit of distortion, but I mean, yeah, if I'm going to make like a really high effort track, like a lot of planning and stuff goes into it, you know? Like I had to be extremely intentional with Identity Crisis. Where is this? Desktop. Name. Hold on one second. Exports. Uh-oh. What happened to Identity Crisis? Is it under IC? Cancel. Wave file. Well, I mean, worst case scenario, I'll just open it back up, but Ice World. Oh, interesting. I don't know what happened to that. Really? What happened to my track? I know, right? Just on the click. Just Venus Theory, no plugin challenge. Yep, it's not in here. Well, let's open it back up. Bounce it out. Projects. Name. There we go. Yeah, so this might actually be, well, actually, yeah, there was a lot of intention that did have to go into this, but I'm just showing you like a dichotomy of this because this is something that was most people would consider to be like a high effort type of track, you know. Let's see, we start from here. Yeah, we can just start from here. Maybe when this is done. Uh, thanks a lot of tracks. What? That's not that many. Yeah, thanks for coming in, Yvonne. Take it easy. But yeah, I mean, I still think that this is less than 50 tracks. Like my older projects used to be well over 100, but I've been really intentional with trying to be like less is more, which is crazy because if you listen to the majority of this track, it's really just this, I think. No, sorry. Yeah, it is mostly this stuff. It's just a break. So I just made the kick a little bit better and then did the snare, but for the most part, if you look at like how much stuff is playing over this, look, it's just this. It's just bum bum dum dum dum, but all the details in the drums. There's only like maybe 7 or 8 things that are playing at once. It just looks like a lot because at a certain point I started adding in all these details, like with the little like glitches and shit, you know. But if you listen to this, it's just these first 2 bars is just dun dun, and that's it. Maybe a white noise thing. But look, like it's really empty. So it looks like a lot at first glance, but with how much stuff is actually going on, it's really not a whole lot. It just seems like it. But yeah, let me bounce this out. I don't know why or how I lost that, but identity crisis. Some other stuff that I did on here. Like this was a pretty complicated track, Gunk, but I try to do a little bit of both, you know. So I'll do shit like this. Right, it's got all this like detail and shit. And then I'll do something like this. So I notice when a hi-hat loops repeats over and over similar things. Yeah, I do. I pay really close attention to that. And similar thing, when I make a drum loop and I hear something pop up like this, it feels wrong. Don't mean to criticize or whatever. Well, no, you have to be mindful of when shit overlaps. That's really what it is. But I've talked about rubato quite a bit on this channel. Oh, everything was on this. No, there was nothing that was off. Like I had no rubato, no swing. Everything was on this. It was all boom. Yeah, everything's quantized on this track, so I don't know what to tell you on that one, but I don't think that I need to save that. Yeah, I don't know. But I mean, you know, there might be some things that jump out at you that you're just like, I don't like that, and that's okay. And I think that recognizing nuance is good because you can be like, I like that in my track or I don't like that in my track. But in a more abstract viewpoint, if we have a beat and we place sounds inside of a beat, as long as this pattern repeats every occurrence, I would say, then you can't really go wrong. Because it's going to sound fucked up, but it's going to start to become predictable because it still has a cycle. You know what I mean? And so whenever you start to play stuff over it, you know, like a snare or a clap or whatever, you're like, oh, okay, I'm familiar with this rhythm now. And that's kind of how all that stuff works. Where's my snare? Oh, here it is. You know, same thing with making snares off. Right now, this is on, right? So, but if we were to do something like this, move this forward. Suddenly it starts to work, you know? Especially if you respect this stuff, like you respect spacing, so that way they're not overlapping. You're doing this. And even if I were to do this with all of them, it still works, even though everything is off. You can put it anywhere, as long as it's the same. Doesn't matter. You might not like it, but it's still gonna work. I actually like that. And so whenever I'm making beats and stuff like that, like that's kind of the one rule that I respect. But then instead of doing it just with one element, I do it with a lot of elements and try to make them match up whenever other stuff isn't on. I think it depends on the genre. I think that like somebody saying that, I feel like they don't have. I feel like it's kind of an ignorant statement, because for stuff to work, you know, certain things have to align. Like there are no rules to music, but there are reasons why things sound good, if that makes sense. Outside of just preference. That's why drum and bass is so hard to make, is because you're dealing with an extremely fast tempo with 64th notes that you're supposed to be able to identify what every sound is, you know? And when you take that into consideration, if you've got a bunch of smearing hats and everything is all over the place, then, you know, and also the philosophy of the mix over time has changed, where back in the day with live music, the drums would be pulled back, right? Because they're too loud. They get in the way of the guitar, they get in the way of the vocals. And now with electronic music, everything is up front, but you can't really smear everything over. I mean, you can, but if you're trying to create grooves like this, it's not going to work with all of these overlapping sounds. You have to have those pockets, like somebody was saying earlier. It has to be there, and the way that you do that is you have to just maintain awareness of negative space. Does that make sense? If you just have smearing drums over the place, like you don't really, you lose a lot of the character. And it's okay for other styles of music, you know, like if you're playing something that's really slow, like trip hop or something, and actually, like, yeah, so we could save that. And then a track that I was working on earlier today was the IDM one, right? Or trip hop / IDM track. It was basically like a crying over pros for no reason type of thing. But if you listen to the drums and the hats on this, they're very, very taily. But this track is at 65, and it's really taking its time, and nothing else is going on. I'm not trying to create this like crazy dance. This is more of like a smear of something that you know, nod your head to slowly. Everything's got its nice reverb and tail and stuff, but like I said, the motion of it and the vibe is very different. Whereas when I'm trying to create a different dance, actually, this is a great example. Notice how everything is really techy. Yeah, very checkerboarded. Sure. Puzzle is what I would say. But I also like. I also do all this shit by hand. I just think that it's like, it's more fun. Like, you could throw Infiltrator on the top of all of this or whatever, but it's a lot more fun to get in there and be like, all right, let's just, let's mangle and jangle, you know? Copyright. You know, take something and just stretch it out, pitch it, start to do repetitions. And like, Bitwig has such an incredible audio workflow that it makes a lot of this stuff so much easier to work with. If you like IDM and you like manipulating audio, like, I get bored with just machines. Well, that's why you start with a vibe. Or do you mean like you get bored with, wait, yeah, before I say anything else, what do you mean by machines? Do you mean like hardware or VSTs or? Yeah, I think I was about to go on a rant, and I'm glad I stopped myself because I think you meant something else. Yeah, using your hands. Yeah, and there's like a time and place, you know. Like, I have hardware, and I do enjoy mingling, and I like VSTs that will do automatic stuff for me. But I feel like building a process is kind of one of the most important things to it, you know. So a lot of times whenever I'm manipulating shit or whatever, I'll, yeah, start with a vibe, and then once I have a general direction, which this was actually the first part of the track that I wrote. Like, I played some guitar and made the drums in Superior Drummer, and did a little bit of resampling and all that, made this stuff. And I was like, okay, I just went back and started cutting it up into pieces and, you know, whatever. Not every track needs this, but I will say that, like, if you're into the glitch genre or whatever, like, learning to do stuff by hand is going to open so many doors for you. While, like, you know, DB glitch and all that other stuff is really cool, it only takes you so far. Um so yeah. Did anybody have any questions about anything? Since chat's moving a little bit slow, I'm going to take this time to remind you all that I'm holding my own Black Friday sale at alchemy.com. Every item that's not a bundle is half off. So check the store out. It's all marked down for you. All of this stuff. You can get some sounds for fucking dirt cheap. Also my courses too. They're super duper cheap. But yeah, I don't really have anything else that I want to do today. I'm ready to kick it with my girlfriend, and we're supposed to play some games and have some fun. I will say, if any of you all have Steam, or actually, regardless, if any of you all have Borderlands 4, that's what her and I are going to be going through and having fun. Cool. All right. Well, much love, everybody. Have a great rest of your evening, and I will see you all tomorrow. Bye, everybody. Have a great rest of your evening. Do 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 do.